everybody has been hyping up Meta platforms lately, but while the crowd was buying here, this is the monthly time frame, we were waiting for something else. Okay, why? Because the monthly charts were screaming a stronger bearish impulse towards this demand level over here, and supply was in control on the weekly time frame right here. So while everybody was hyping up, I'm going to tell you what you should be waiting for. Okay, and not on top of that, Mark Zuckerberg, CEO, Meta CEO himself, okay, sold millions of dollars in Meta's shares every single day since the beginning of August 2025. So I'm going to show you how supply and demand predicted this massive sell-off in Meta's stock weeks before it even happened. So Meta platforms, yes, it is Facebook, okay, just gave us a masterclass on why supply and demand always win over hype, headlines, earnings reports, and everything. Well, like I said before, while most traders were thinking and celebrating new all-time highs on Meta platforms stock, we were doing something else. The monthly time frame was quietly flashing danger signs. We see here a strong rally made of several large candlesticks. The bodies are very large, and as price rallies during May, June, July, you can see how these candlesticks here get smaller, and now we can see bearishness these wicks here, the upper wicks. In the first chart that I'm showing you here, the monthly time frame for Meta platforms, you can see clearly the demand level sitting down there at $592 per share. Okay, it's highlighted in blue, as I always do, and that's the zone, the imbalance, where institutions will most likely start accumulating again shares of Meta platforms. Now, well, let's look at what happened before the drop, okay? Because obviously you are saying, okay, now it's dropping because you are saying that, okay, it's after the fact. No, it is not after the fact, okay? When we go to Set and Forget website, okay, and we go here, we can check platform Meta here, and we go back in time here. Okay, October 27th, 2025. Okay, weekly supply I mentioned in the last update was reached. We were expecting this to happen. Okay, no signs of bearishness, short bias. This one could help Meta drop to monthly demand, which is much lower. What happened in the next update? Okay, last Thursday. A weak downtrend. Supply mentioned the last update, still in control, trying to reach the monthly demand level right there. So this is not something that we are saying, okay, this is happening now and it is because of this. Nope. Okay. It is because we were talking about that, and price action with supply, together with supply and demand, are the only things that you really need. Not even the news reports, which we are going to pay attention to right now too, because it's also important in this scenario. Okay, so you can see how all the pieces of the puzzle for Meta platform stock are, put together. Okay, so you can trade swing positions based on this bearishness, or waiting for Meta to drop down there on the way down. Now, obviously, volatility will be like crazy. Okay, so we are patiently waiting for that. So if we take a look at what happened before the drop, if we take a look at the weekly time frame, as you saw before on the website, we had a weekly supply level over there. Price was like breaking all-time highs, breakout traders, strategies, stock strategies. Oops, it fails. Okay, it's trying to break out. It fails. And now we can see bearishness. It creates a new weekly supply level at 757. So we are expecting, as I said in this analysis before, we're expecting Meta platform, to reach that supply level. It reaches that supply level, and from there, price dropped heavily. So, but then if we look at August and September, okay, this is August and September 2025. Meta rallied strongly before that. Okay. The candlestick bodies here shrank a lot, nothing to do. These 2 candlesticks here, 3 candlesticks have nothing to do with this candle from July and this candle from June 2025, from May and June, sorry. So very strong rally, and then the candlesticks shrink and they drop. That's one thing. Price action is very important to understand. Okay, so that's the first thing. After a very strong rally, we're expecting the pullback. That's another rule. And then not only that, but we have supply and control on the weekly time frame. So all those signs are telling us, hey, this is happening. We can predict it way before it happened. Okay, way before it happened, we predicted it. Okay, so, and we do that hundreds, if not thousands of times during the year. So this is like the classic profit taking signal for Meta. So you can now manage your short-term positions, get out, have a short bias right now. You can use intraday stock strategies. You can scalp on the way down. Okay, the rally had lost its strength during July, August, and September 2025. And the imbalance on the weekly supply, on the weekly time frame, took control, and then price dropped. Okay, emotionally, this is where most retail traders start thinking, maybe it will break higher this time. I'm gonna take a position, so I will be the first one buying, and the Meta gaps up or whatever, and I'm gonna make a lot of money, and then price drops. You didn't pay attention to the monthly time frame. Maybe the monthly time frame is like science fiction to you. You never use it. You only use the daily earnings, smaller time frames, 1 hour, 15 minutes, you scalp, you trade short-term options, you write premium, and you sell spreads or whatever you want to do. Okay, you can do many things. Okay, to trade Meta stock. So emotionally, that happened. Okay, but then the institutions and the big boys, okay, they were already unloading. You can see that in that price action in the monthly. Okay. Unloading, taking profits on Meta platforms. And how do we know that? Because supply was, on the weekly, supply was in control. The strong bearish impulse with 2 large candlesticks. This happens only when there are big boys taking control there, the institutions or CEOs and everything. And not only that, but insider trading confirmed it. Okay, insider selling confirmed this sell-off. Okay, that had been accumulating, okay, over the last couple of months. And I'm going to show you how to learn about it. Maybe you don't know, maybe you do know, but price action, candlesticks, okay, analysis, stock analysis, plus supply and demand, stock analysis, plus insider trading can be really, really good. And if you are doing options and you know how to do that, how to manage options, it can give you even more insights on Meta platforms. So the weekly chart here with this engulfing pattern over there, and this is also a supply level. Not all impulses are supply levels, but this one was. It is the perfect storm. It's the monthly has been running for a long time, for 3-4 months. Then you can see how the candlesticks on the monthly are shrinking. Take profits are taking place. Okay, supply on the weekly gains control. Now we have stronger bearish candles than bullish on the left side, and then insider trading, which we're going to look at now. Okay, so, and this is all, everything is helping Meta to drop. Okay, but the story doesn't stop there, because on October 29th of 2025, Meta released its earnings. Okay, so what do we have here? We have an estimated of 6.7, okay, and reported 105. It was a shocking surprise of 84%. So negative, supposedly, but not only that, because even if it had been positive, since we have supply and control, and we have this bearishness here, expecting the return, the pullback to this monthly demand level, even if it had been positive, because I've seen this millions of times, it would have dropped. Probably not as strongly, okay? Now it just tanked. And how much did it drop? So if you were trading there, this is the opening candle, and it dropped around $102, 13.5% in just a single day, with a gap that usually are filled. it will be filled when monthly demand level gains control, and it will give us quite a nice profit if that happens. Okay, so everything was aligned. I mean, we had a strong rally. We were waiting for the pullback on Meta platforms. So now you have to stop buying shares of Meta. You need to use bearish strategies because we are waiting for this. You can use options for selling premium, whatever you're doing, and with option strategies for Meta and other stocks. And while this revenue is slightly beaten expectations, okay, earnings per share missed by a mile. So it was like, what's going on here? Okay, the estimated revenue was 49 and then reported 51. So it beat expectations. Okay, but then price just dropped because supply and control was on the weekly time frame, and we were expecting this on the monthly. Okay, so the result is that Meta stock collapsed. It tanked more than 13%, wiping out $100 per share in a single session, as you can see here on the daily time frame with that bearish gap. And that's insane. So if you were like buying, expecting Meta to break all-time highs like many other American stocks are doing, then you obviously you see here, oh, the bullish gap here is going to be filled and then can go long using other strategies, whatever you want. But then, okay, supply was in control. It tanked. So why did it happen? So it happened because supply was in control. Okay, the monthly context was telling us that price was going to drop down there. The fundamentals only accelerated what the chart had already told us. The earnings and the fundamentals analysis for Meta platform stocks were the catalyzers. But we already had supply and control, and we already had the expectations for Meta to drop, as you can see here on the analysis that we have on the website. Okay, we're expecting this. We're expecting this. Okay, so we don't need any reports. We know already what's going to happen. I mean, that doesn't mean that it will always happen like this. These are just probabilities, okay? Like when you are trading option, when you're seeing the one standard deviation, the bell curve and everything. So 68% probability that price will go left or right. So I'm going to sell premium outside the bounds, the markets of one standard deviation or two standard deviations, whatever, okay? When you are selling premium. But this has nothing to do with that, okay? The higher probability is that Meta is going to drop down there. Okay, as simple as that. So, and the final clue for this Meta stock dropping, okay, is insider trading. So, and this is where it gets even more interesting, because insider trading for Meta confirms what price action, supply and demand, and the weekly supply level that we have right there at 757. The insider trading confirms that, because between August 1st and August 18th, 2025, we can check here on Meta platforms. This is Finbiz, okay? It's free. So you search Meta. And now let's go here, my friend. So this is the context. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so this is the 1st of August. Okay, and and even before that, August, I don't have access to more data here. This is free data for insider trading for Meta platforms. So, but let's take a look at August. Okay. So what we have here is that Mark Zuckerberg, I mean, who was selling there? Okay. Hello, I'm here. I'm here, my friends. But you don't see me because you are not taking into consideration supply and demand, price action, and the insider trading. Okay. So this is what's happening. Mark Zuckerberg, okay, CEO, ZOB, of Meta platforms, Facebook, sold over 15,000 shares per day, cashing out, crashing out is not a word, well, it could be used, more than 12 million daily, you can see here, okay, because this is the column for the value in dollar, the number of shares, and the shares total. So he's selling, okay, and he's doing this, like 11 million, 12 million, 12, 11, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. And then his friend, okay, the chief product officer, Cox Christopher, And here, the Newstead Jennifer, they made a profit. Sorry, Jennifer, no, the officer here, Christopher Cox, they made, well, backed in $46 million, and then here 46 again. So it's like they don't want to move the markets. Okay, they are selling quietly, they are distributing, accumulating. Okay, selling small, well, a lot of shares, but they just cannot sell everything they have or much more, because otherwise it will drop like this. Okay, like this with the gap, and then the average of shares, the sell price for the average share will not be at the top where they are accumulating. Okay, there, selling there. Okay, during September and August. So this is insider trading. Our friend and his friends knew already what's going to happen, my friend. They knew already the results for these earnings, and they knew that there was an accumulation of fill orders over there. So they just took advantage of that, and then what happened? Even though the revenue surprise was a surprise of 173 billions, Meta Platforms tanked from this supply level in October 2025. So, hello, my friend. And when we look at this, you can see that here. So these guys already knew what's going on, and obviously they were getting rid of, I don't have access to September, but probably Mark Zuckerberg has been doing this for quite a long time. Okay, so he's just taking profits over there, and what's going to happen? He's making a lot of money, okay, because Meta is at all-time highs. A lot, millions. Okay, he's one of the richest people in the world. So when he gets up there and say, okay, I'm gonna close a percentage of my positions, I'm gonna realize profit. Okay, I take profit, then I help the stock drop, I make a lot of money, but I still have the money to rebuy my own shares here, and then I buy again. And this is what's going on here. So when that's not a coincidence, okay, that's timing, perfect timing. Everything is control. Okay, so when the CEO of a company like Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, sells continuously at all-time highs, here you can see this confirmation. You can have, anyone can have access to this, because you have to fill the famous form, because they own part of the company, so they have to make it public to disclose what they are going to do, because they could obviously manipulate the market, although they are already manipulating it. But what happened is that, okay? So when you learn that the CEO of one of the biggest IT tech company, social media in the world, Facebook, Meta, okay, continuously sells at all-time highs during the last months. And we also see that weekly supply against control, we can see now strong bearish candles here. Okay, you don't need an MBA to know what's coming next, my friend. We had monthly strong rally. We're waiting for this. Okay, you can see how the candles shrink. We can see the weekly supply against control. You can see two large candlesticks here, larger than the ones on the left. So the bears have gained control. The news, earnings releases, okay, there. And then on top of that, the insider trading. So what else do you want? Okay, everything is saying, hey, Facebook is screaming. Okay, it's like, wow, listen to me, look at me, my friend, I'm dropping down there, and he's saying, hello, you didn't see that coming, my friends. That's why he's laughing. You didn't see that coming. I'm here, I'm right there. So this was, let's say, like a textbook orchestrated scenario. Weekly supply was in control up there, okay, at $757 per share. Okay, weekly supply was confirming that. We are expecting this with price action, price dropping to the monthly demand level, earnings surprise, okay, and insider trading of our friend Mark Zuckerberg accelerating the fall, okay, and sealing the deal. So everything aligned perfectly for a drop towards $592 per share, where the demand level on Meta platform is sitting. Remember, this is not a support level, this is a demand level. That's a pocket of unfilled institutional buy orders. That's where real demand lies. So the lesson we need to learn from this, is that trading is not about guessing. I always say that. It's about waiting patiently. While the crowd was euphoric that meta platforms was breaking all-time highs, many would be probably using breakout trading strategies. Okay, that's another thing. We are not doing that. We are supply and demand traders. We need to wait patiently. While the crowd was euphoric, those of us reading price action, expecting this on the monthly and knowing where the demand level is, we were already planning for this drop. Okay, so the next time the crowd screams to the moon, okay, zoom out and look at the bigger time frames, because the monthly time frame will tell you a lot of things. Okay, and ask yourself, okay, once you do that, is supply or demand in control? Has price rallied a lot? Okay, because price doesn't move because of headlines. It moves because of these imbalances, of these pockets of imbalance that we can find on all time frames, on the weekly, on the monthly, on the daily. We have a daily supply level over there, which is a nice place to get out if the monthly demand level starts playing out. So when it gets there, a meta platform stock just gave us the perfect reminder. So in summary, we have monthly demand level at $592 for meta platform stock. Weekly supply level right at 757, with the daily supply level right at about 741, sitting slightly underneath the weekly supply level. The weekly supply level confirmed the rejection. The insider trading here also, CEO Mark Zuckerberg insider selling 150,000 shares during the last months. Okay, more if you have access to more data. I have access to that. For now, it's enough. So when all these signals align, they point in the same direction, down to monthly demand level. Okay, so waiting patiently for price to return to that monthly demand level, that imbalance, before even thinking of buying meta again. So hopefully all this makes sense, because I try to put there are more pieces, but some of these pieces, like strong rally, expectation on the monthly, price action, shrinking candlestick patterns, insider trading, earnings releases, are useless, but they help a lot when we have an area of supply or demand in control. The bearish gap on the daily, based with on the reaction on the weekly, that helps meta drop $100. So all that aligned, and we are waiting patiently for monthly demand level to gain control. If you like this video and the way I am explaining things and it makes sense to you, give me a like. And if you like even more, subscribe to my channel, because I will be sharing more insights on stocks, cryptos, and Forex. Have a great day.